Welcome back to the ATV channel, guys, and today we are working on the E36 again, and it might be time to say goodbye to this car. But first, before we get into that, we have to paint the Alpina wheel caps and also give the car an interim service. So let's get into it. Right guys, I'm going to do a video on painting these Alpina wheel caps for the E36. The way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to start sanding these down. So these are actually 3D printed, and I'm going to put in the description where I got these from because they're really hard to find, but there is someone who 3D prints them that are perfect for these aftermarket Alpina wheels, so I'll put that in the description below. However, the process that I'm going to do to paint these is I'm going to sand them down first just to rough them up a bit, and then I'm going to be using a plastic primer because it adheres to this better, and then I will let that dry, and then I will add a normal paint primer on top of that, and then I'll add a few coats of the paint. So this is actually custom paint matched to the wheel itself, so it's actually a mix of blends to get the right color. So I'm going to do that, and then once I've done a few coats of that color, I will then do a clear coat, and this is a 2K clear coat. So yeah, that's just an overview of what I'm going to do. I will walk you through what I'm doing, probably do a time lapse just to speed it up, but it gives you a better idea of how it's done. So I'm going to get onto that now. Right guys, I've sanded these down and I've cleaned it with white spirit just to degrease them and get all the sanded material off. I'm now going to give it a lick of plastic primer first to give it that first layer of adhesion so that it sticks well, so the paint sticks well to it. Well, like I said, I'm doing a plastic primer first, then a paint primer. So it's actually 2 levels of adhesion just because it's plastic. So this is the plastic primer that I'm going to use. This is actually from Central Paints in Leicester. Really good company. They supply all sorts of paints and do all sorts of mixes. So yeah, very helpful with their services. Right, I've shaken this up a bit. It's all good. So I'm just going to give it a coat. Right, that should be enough to give it a layer of primer. I'm going to let that dry for about 20 minutes now. Right guys, the plastic primer is now all dried up. I'm now going to put grey plastic primer on top. This is mainly for the paint adhesion. So I'm going to put a layer of this now, let it dry, and then probably put another layer, and then it's time for paint. I actually might just put 1 layer of this actually, because then we can put a couple of layers of paint. Oh, there's something, a bit of hair got on here. I'm just going to pull that off. It's alright. Right, there we go, that's primer on there. I'm not too bothered about the centers because the centers are going to have badges on there, so the main thing I'm worried about is just the top surfaces. But that is 1 layer of primer on there now, and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to take it from there. I have primed the fronts of these caps and they are in grey primer right now. I actually did 2 coats of grey primer. Now, before I continue, I'm going to prime the backs because I'm going to paint the front and the back of the caps just for completeness. So we're going to put a lick of primer on these now, and then once that dries, we can sand them down a little bit and then put the probably 2 coats of paint on. We're going for a silver color which matches the wheels. But let's prime these up. There we go, nice lick of primer now on the back as well. And then once that's dried, we can start putting the paint on. I'm going to give this a lick of paint of the original silver. So now that they're primed up, it's time to give them a good spray. So I'm going to shake the can up while I'm waiting, and also just give it a bit of a white spirit before we start. So far guys, we've done a plastic primer on these and 2 coats of just grey normal primer, so there shouldn't be any issues with this paint sticking to this, you know. Right, let's go for it. Right, there we go. That is a first coat of the actual colour. So I'm going to let that dry and then probably do a second coat of it, and then at the end do a clear lacquer. Cool, let that dry up. Right guys, I did a second coat of the silver off camera already. So all I've got to do now is do a clear coat. So this is a 2K clear coat, and this will basically finish it off just like the OEM wheels. So let's give it a go. Just doing a bit of a tester there. Right, let's give it a clear coat. There we go, that is a clear coat done on there. So once that dries, that is ready to have its badges fitted in the center, and then we can fit it to the car. There we go, we're just going to wait for that to dry now, and fingers crossed it all matches up. Right, the caps are finished and they have all dried up, and I've just test fitted them on the wheels and they look pretty good. I mean, the paint match isn't perfect because, you know, obviously the caps are brand new, newly painted, and the wheels are old, but yeah, overall happy with the result. So the next thing I'm going to do now is put the badges on in the center, and I'm going to put Alpina badges on just because they're Alpina-style wheels. So yeah, let's get onto that. There you go guys, these are now all painted with the badges on. I'm going to let the glue dry with the glue that I used to stick the badges on, and I just want to mention that I got these 3D printed by a guy called LB Crafted Prints on Etsy. He's such a lovely guy. He supplies these 3D printed center caps for multiple cars, E36s, E30s. I will put his link in the description below. And he also sent out very kindly a cup holder for the E36. So let's get this in the car and see how it looks. But yeah, center caps all done. Just got to wait for it to dry, and then I'll stick them on the car and show you a final result of what they look like. Look how cool this part is. So basically it's a 3D printed cup holder specifically for an E36. It has a bit of a compartment here as well, and also there's a section where you can push this out and if you wanted to, you can wire in a USB charger or an auxiliary port. So yeah, let's get this fitted in. And just like that, such great fitting. That has slipped in so nicely. Yeah, it looks great and perfect for a car like this that has literally no cup holders in this car. So good to go. Right guys, we're going to do a quick oil service on the E36 convertible. We're just going to do oil filter and air filter on this one. So I'm going to stick you guys on the time lapse just to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to start with draining the oil out from the bottom, and then once that's draining, I'll take the oil filter off, change that, and do the air filter as well. Let's get it. Right, let's take this drain plug out. I feel like I've got the wrong size. One sec. Yeah, I think I need to get a 17. Right, I've got the right socket on there now. There we go. Straight into the bucket. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is take the oil filter out. This is using a 32mm socket, I believe. 36mm. Now undo it by hand.
That paintwork looking good, isn't it?
Hey?
That paintwork's looking really good.
Oil filter is quite simple. It's just a case of popping this guy out. Go. And swapping it for the new one. So I'm just going to pop that back in. There we go. And then all I have to change is the two seals. Just take that seal out. Just take this seal off. Make sure it's the same size. Good. Right, let's get this back in now. I'm just going to use this socket to lift it up a little bit. There you go. I'm good to go. So now that we're here at the top, I'm going to do the air filter. Might as well pull this out. It's literally just two tabs on either side. Push them in, pull upwards. And there you go. There's the air filter. Just make sure it's the right size, which it looks like it is. Take this out. You can see in there, it's quite nasty. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that. There we go. New air filter. Push this down. Air filter done. Now that the air filter and the oil filter are in, there's a tiny bit of oil still leaking out the engine, but that's not a problem. What we could do is just put the sump plug back in with a new washer that came in the kit. And plug it all back up. Good, just nip it up, make sure that crush washer crushes, and job's a good one. All I'm going to do is I'll wipe that up and we're good to go. A bit of a spray and wipe it down. Make sure there's no leaks there. Job is a good one. So now all we got to do next is fill the engine with the new oil. Let's get it. So just check how nasty this oil is. It's disgusting and black. Glad we're changing it. Alright, let's fill this thing up with oil. That is a service done. That's an interim service that we did. Oil filter and air filter on this. So that is all finished now, and we're going to get on to the next job, which is we're going to put the wheel caps on. And just like that, check out those wheels. Those center caps really set off the wheels and they complete the product. We have done the sports bumper on this car, we've done sports interior, a sports gear stick, and we've fixed the likes of the blower motor, the rain scuttle, treated the car with a interim service. Off camera as well, we did a few maintenance bits like front bushes and things like that. And we gave this car a deep interior clean and a deep exterior clean, and just look at the result. We've really enjoyed this car, we've added our ATB touch to it, and now it's time for it to be enjoyed by its new owner.